right here. Looks to me like Neptune. Probably a really nice planet if we could ever get there. Except it's all gas. Kind of like my neighborhood. Full of hot air. I started a post about being 15, and I interrupted it by being mad at my neighbors with good reason. You see, they have done something. They're hiding that truth. And it is costing me everything that I have to try and get the truth out of them. I'm enjoying some fudge right now. Something I normally don't purchase. But it's from Devon's, which is on Mackinac Island. So I'm going to finish my 15-year-old memory. Which is now 35 years old. The memory is from when I was 15. It was the first year that I raced on the Port Huron Mackinac race. On Dean Belserec's 33-foot Pearson. And the boat name was called Sea Fever. I still have the shirt from crewing that one year. Still fits. I haven't changed one bit. I'm the same weight that I've been since 18. About 135, 130, 140. Never fat. Ever. So, that's a lie. The reason that they're telling the fat story is so that they can get people to believe that I'm sick because I'm skinny. Isn't that sick? Yes, it is. But that's what they're doing. That's part of their narrative. Their sick narrative to get me to move. Which is illegal. But Patty doesn't think so. Why doesn't she think it's illegal? I'll tell you why. Because she's gotten the support of the police. And the military technology has been used to harass and stalk me. That never should have been. Isn't that beautiful? So, Patty, if everything is legitimate, can you answer me this? Why don't I know anything about it? In the United States, test subjects are paid for their participation in everything. Guess how much I'm getting? Nothing. Nothing at all. I found out that a neighbor has a company that has my nickname in the title. I've been told nothing at all about this company, what products it has. All I know is that it cannot operate in the United States, or it didn't have the ability to at the time that I found it online. When I did some research into my neighbor, because I wanted to know more about him. And boy, oh boy, did I learn some things. He has a sister. I think I've got her license plate. We actually have the same net worth online. The company name is Asian name, Asian name, Asian name, Asian name, REM, Asian name, Asian name, Asian name. Back to the story when I was 15 years old. My first Port Huron Mackinac race, which is a 209 nautical mile race that starts here's Michigan, right? It starts here at Port Huron. Detroit's down here. It starts at Port Huron and it goes out to Cove Island, which is only a marker off the shore of Canada, and over past Spectacle Reef and to Mackinac Island, which is the tip before you get to the Upper Peninsula. I've only been to the Upper Peninsula a couple times, but Mackinac Island, I've been to 3 times, all by sailboat. Never driven there by car. But I have driven to the Upper Peninsula. And something happens when you drive or go to the Upper Peninsula. There is a lack of deciduous trees, and you only have conifers or pine trees. There's less and less deciduous trees. We live in a deciduous forest. It's why this region was called the Eastern Woodlands. And in fact, during colonial times, you could travel, if you were a squirrel, from the ocean to the Mississippi River and never touch the ground. Just travel tree by tree by tree, like you see here. Completely wooded and natural and beautiful. As the Midwest, which was the Northwest Territory before it started to divide itself into states, and there were 5. Michigan, Ohio, Indiana, Minnesota, and Wisconsin. It's the Northwest Territory. Stolen Indian land, but reclaimed as the white man's domain. Farmland, because it's very rich. You see, it's all trees, and we have a layer of humus. That's not hummus. It's got 2 M's. And the layer of humus is what allows crops to grow, and it's just very rich farmland. It does not erode because of the root system that is established. And it gets replenished every season by the leaves falling and the insects dying that live in this region. So, what the white man has done, creating farmland, is they've created a situation that's not good, because we're losing our layer of fertile soil that we grow crops on. Wind blows topsoil away. So does rainfall. There's lots of weathering and erosion events that happen, and it's all going into the Gulf of Mexico. Sailing to Mackinac Island. That's where I was, and I promise I'll try and stay on that train of thought. The first night leaving Port Huron, there was a beautiful moon, and the stars were so bright because there's no city lights around. And the connectedness that I felt at the age of 15 to our world and to our universe and the possibilities of things that are out there was just amazing. It was a divine experience. Hi. And one thing I know for sure is that we are not alone. And I first came to that realization back then. I looked up and I said, all of those are suns that you see. And what our government is doing is hiding that fact that there are so many stars, because I don't think they want us to believe that other life is out there. They want to hide that truth from us. Why would they want to do that? Well, there are a couple of reasons why, but I think I've hit upon the most important one. And that has to do with our moon. You see, our moon is far too large to be as close as it is. Plus, it's the only moon that is tidally locked, where we only see the same side all the time in the solar system. So all the other moons that there are, of which there are, I think, 40 or 50 that are going around all the planets, we can observe from telescopes here on Earth and in low Earth orbit. We don't have anything out in space. No other moon behaves the way that our moon does. And that fact is very, very interesting. Another interesting fact is the presence of black holes on our ocean floor. Black holes exist, but we haven't studied them. You know, if I were NASA and I wanted to figure out a way outside of our closed system, I would want to know where the water's going. Right? It's got to be going somewhere. So maybe our way to get to another world somewhere, because it just doesn't disappear. Maybe a way to get to another planet is through that black hole. What do you think? It would be a good experiment, I think, to go ahead and lower something into that drain to find out where our ocean water is going. Because all of the life on Earth, get this, all of the life on Earth generated from the ocean. So it has everything necessary for life to exist. All animals evolved from the sea. We've just changed our fins into arms and our tails into legs. Is it possible that Earth is a breeding cage? Because we are in a cage. We're in a cage inside of the Van Allen belts, and we cannot get out. We've never been able to be out of the Van Allen belts, ever. And what that means is something very interesting. If we are a breeding ground for life on other planets, elsewhere in the universe. We are what some would call inside of a matrix. The moon is in fact artificial. There are suspicions that it's hollow, but we really don't know because we've never been. There is a belief that we have been, and the reason that we've told the moon story, or our government has, is to make us believe that there's not life right next to us. If they continue to say to the people of the world that there's no life on the moon, if they continue to say that, then the search for life goes further away. And it would be like if you were playing hide and seek and you were really close by to somebody, but you wanted them to think you were further away, you would throw a stone, right? And have it land and make a sound further away, so that it would distract and make you believe that nearby you're not there. Yes, the moon is full of possibilities. And I believe that Earth has been occupied by an alien civilization who has raised us to be the animals we are, because we don't just have an animal brain. We have something very unique. It's called a prefrontal cortex. It's smaller, and it's only been around about 10,000 years, evolutionarily. This newer brain gives us our ability to reason, to prioritize, to do all sorts of executive brain thinking. Now, the disease of addiction is letting that old world brain dominate. In the rooms of recovery, it is often said to play the tape forward, right? In other words, don't just use your knee-jerk reaction to determine things. Play it all the way through. What are your choices? And how is that going to impact the future? The old world brain, which is part of the pleasure center, the hypothalamus, The pleasure center gets excited. Oh, shoot. That used to be a steakhouse called the Branding Iron. I'm up in Delaware, Ohio. Anyway. The disease of addiction. And everybody has an addiction. I want to make this clear because it's important. The pleasure center of the brain gets stimulated when we play out our addiction. Sex, drugs, gambling, food, sugar, caffeine, whatever it is, work, exercise. There's a lot there. People are not addressing their own addiction in the world. And addiction has a really negative connotation and stigma. I cannot believe my fucking friends and their gross assumptions and bullshit I've had to deal with because of what they think and because of the way they want to discriminate. And they are discriminating. Remote neural monitoring trips that pleasure center in such a way that it makes it the most dangerous and potent drug ever known to man. Truth. How do I know this? Because of what my V2K operators have said out loud. Yeah. I'll get to that in a minute. I want to show you something. Moon enthusiasts and NASA fans, watch this. I'm going to pretend that I'm a rover on the moon. I don't have a suit on, but I do have a rover. Are you ready? Watch the rear view mirror, please. Or watch the rear window. Pretend you're in a capsule. Now, keep watching. Keep watching. Do you see what I see? Dust. Dust. Right? Dust. We're on Earth. Earth has water. We have precipitation. We have clouds. Now, watch that moon rover footage, will you? I hope this half hour of your time has been worth it. It's packed with a lot of information. And you need to be honest with yourself and get out of denial. Everybody has an addiction. What's yours?